Hi, my name is Alyssa, and I wanted to talk to you about something I noticed recently. I've been reading more physical books because I'm trying to read the books I haven't read on my bookshelves before I get new ones, and I've been looking at the author biographies on the back flap of dust jackets on hardcover books. I want to be an author one day, so I've been looking at these biographies and wondering what makes a good one. First, I wanted to examine their purpose. Why do we include them in the first place? After studying 10 examples of these author biographies, I think I've come up with an answer. They seem to have two purposes. The first is to connect with the audience. As a reader, it's easy to sometimes forget about the author when reading a story. However, knowing about the author can give us more insight into the story we've just read. It's also nice to connect to the author as a person because it reminds me that I can be an author one day too. Another purpose these biographies have is to show other professionals in the book publishing industry what the author has accomplished. This may influence other authors or professionals to work with the author. As I was looking at my 10 examples, I did what is called a rhetorical moves analysis, which is a way of studying a genre. This way of analysis was developed by Brad Jacobson and his team as a way to study examples in a genre. According to Jacobson, these genres can be thought of as categories of writing. These categories are based on what the writing is trying to do, as well as who it is written for and the context it is written in. In order to look at these genres, Jacobson designed a way of analysis that looks at the rhetorical moves, which, according to Jacobson, are the parts of a text that carry out specific goals. They help writers accomplish the main action of the genre. I narrowed my focus before doing my analysis to New York Times best-selling authors who write fantasy books and are female. My reason for doing this is that I wanted to look at what makes a good author biography for me. I'm a fantasy writer, and I hope to one day publish and be successful like these women. So I was thinking, if I were to become an author, what would I need to include? Before I narrowed my focus, I noticed that I had way too wide of a range of data. Narrowing the type of authors helped me to also narrow the data range. Here's my data from my analysis. I separated the results into 4 categories. If all 10 examples had the move, it is an obligatory move. If between 9 and 5 examples had the move, it is a common move. If between 4 and 3 examples had it, it is an optional move. And if 2 or less of my examples had it, it is a rare move. Looking at the data, I realized that the 2 different purposes are a scale, and each author is choosing where on the scale they want to appear. For example, Tomi Adeyemi's biography leans more on the professional side. It reads almost like a mini resume. Some of the moves I'm going to highlight that show her professionalism is this sentence where she tells us where she graduated and with what degree. She also details other things she studied and even mentions where she studied them. You can see that about half her biography is about her professional work. Another example is Rebecca Ross. Her biography reads more as a get-to-know-you paragraph. Here's the highlight of what is helping her connect with her readers. We learn quite a bit about her, including where she was born and raised, where she lives now, her family, her dog, and some hobbies. Most of her biography tells about her as a person. Here are 3 more examples that we're going to look at step by step. First, we'll look at the author's name. It comes first and has a bigger font. Second, they mention they are New York Times best-selling author, or they mention the best-selling series. Third, they mention the books or series they've written. Fourth, Pearson and Mass mention how many languages their books have been translated into. Fifth, they mention where they live now. Sixth, Mass and Bardugo mention that where they were born and raised. Seventh is the different moves that Mass and Bardugo have that Pearson does not. Each of these moves work toward one of our 2 purposes. Here are my results again, and here's the highlight to show the different purposes. The moves that are unhighlighted could work either direction. The pink moves connect with audience, and the yellow connect with professionals. This is interesting to look at because most of the common moves connect with professionals, but the most common of the common moves connect with the audience. We see more connection to audience in the optional moves, and we see more connection to professionals in the rare moves. These results tell me that the primary purpose of an author biography is to connect with the audience, and the connection to other professionals is secondary. With all that being said, how do we write a good author biography? Based on my analysis, you should focus mainly on humanizing yourself so you can connect with your audience while also making comments on your successes as a professional. So, what do you think? Would you lean your author biography more personal or more professional? What moves would you include that these authors didn't? Which of the moves surprised you the most? And which of the author examples I give did you think was the most interesting? Thank you for listening to my examination on author biographies. Bye!